Dawn Compton, the pastor at Main Street United Methodist Church, and I'm here today to bring you our weekly Wednesday Word. I want to tell you what has happened this week. I've been on the car, in the car twice now this week, and I have seen a vehicle that I did not recognize at all. And so the first time I went home and I told Aaron and Luke about it, trying to get them to help me figure out what kind it was, and I probably didn't describe it real well. I just said it looked like a space vehicle. It looked like something that was supposed to be from outer space that I did not understand or know where this kind of vehicle came from. And they weren't sure what I was talking about. I was like, well, I know I saw it. Well, I saw it again this morning. It's Wednesday morning on the way to the church, coming down 221, and it looked very similar to the one that I saw earlier in the week. And so I called Aaron again. I was like, look, I saw this. This is a space vehicle somewhere around here. Just driving around this vehicle. And he talked me through it, and I think now that what I saw was a Tesla Cybertruck. I think that's what it was, a Tesla Cybertruck. Just looked very, very different than anything I'd ever seen. You know, I looked it up and I'm like, yeah, I think that kind of looks like what I was talking about. I thought I saw a 2-door and it looks like it's only 4-door, so I'm not sure. But I lift that up. Okay, how, Dawn, does that connect with church stuff? I lift that up because it was different. It was very, very different, and it's not something that I think I would ever want to drive. It was a change from anything that I have driven in the past. And just made me think, you know, that sometimes when new things come out, when new things are being proposed, when something changes from what we've always known, we don't like it. I don't like it when some things change. I like consistency. I like continuity. I like to know what's going on and for things to go so I can feel just safe maybe or under control of what's happening. And when there's changes, it just makes me feel uncomfortable. And it challenges me in that. And that can happen in the church as well. But we need to remember that change happens. We are not doing church. We are not being the church in the exact same way as the early disciples did. Right? We're not doing it in the exact same way. When we look at how they worshiped, what they did, how they gathered together, it's not exactly the same. Okay? They didn't have some of what we call, the old hymns. That wasn't there then. Those old hymns weren't there in the 1500s, when the Protestant Reformation came about. No, it was different. We are doing church differently. We are doing church differently now than we did when I was growing up. I recognize that. There are many, many things that stay the same, but things are different. There are things different. And I am sure that by the time my great-grandchildren are here and are part of whatever church that they're a part of, it's going to look different than what we have right now. What remains the same is the God that we worship. God has been there through all of it. God is there for us today, even the way God was there in the Old Testament and the New Testament and the church in the 1500s and 1700s when John Wesley came over here to America. God is still there. And see, God knows that things change. Look at how God created our world. We don't have things that stay the same all the time. There are changes that happen. We have seasons of the year. It always is rotating. We have how it gets light and dark at different times. During the summer, we have light more often during the day. During the winter, it's darker longer. That's a change. from time to time. We have changes that happen in how the flowers grow, how our trees and bushes grow. We have changes in the water and what they did. I mean, look at the Grand Canyon. That Grand Canyon was not there at the very beginning, but that water, that mighty Colorado River, created the Grand Canyon. That was a change. And we love the Grand Canyon. Most of us do. So change, as difficult as it may be, as hard as it is to accept and want to deal with, change happens. God knows that change happens. And God's with us when it happens. So I hope that if you are going through a time of transition, a time of change in your life, when you are seeing things that are happening here at the church, and it's like, I don't know why we're doing that. We didn't do that in my day. I hope you will step back and look and maybe see how God is still there, even in the midst of those changes. I know that God is with you, and God loves you. I'm going to lift up just two announcements or two pieces of information. One is to remind you that next week is Virginia Annual Conference. It begins on Thursday, June 20th, and goes through the 22nd. It's going to be in Hamptons, Virginia this year, and there are 4 of us from Main Street that will be going to this conference and be hearing about what's going on in the Virginia Annual Conference, make decisions about next steps for our annual conference, and we'll be able to spend a lot of time as well in worshiping and being in Christian conferencing together. So please pray for the Virginia Annual Conference that will be meeting next week. The week after that, well, immediately following, on June 23rd, we start our Vacation Bible School. And I'm so excited about this Vacation Bible School. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We are going to look at how God was working from Elijah to Elisha. You see there's a change right there, changing who the prophets were and how God was working with them. We're going to be looking at that. It's going to be a lot of fun for the kids. We've got a lot of adults that are helping us out. It is Sunday evening, the 23rd through the 27th from 6 to 8 p.m. So if you're participating in that, I'm so glad, and thank you for doing that. Invite your children in your neighborhood, your friends and neighbors, and anyone that you know of that might be interested in coming and having wonderful evenings that week, growing and learning in the faith. And if nothing else, please be in prayer for our Vacation Bible School, that we will be touching some lives and we'll be making a difference in the lives of the children in our community. Friends, I hope you have a great rest of the week. I look forward to worshiping with you this Sunday, either worshiping with you in person at 10:30 or worshiping with you online. God bless.